There can be no doubt what our next guest means to the game of hockey.
And today, with the release of his book, 99 Stories of the Game, he shares what it means, well, what the game means to him. Please welcome the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
Woo! Okay, before we get this interview going,
lively in here for an early
you know what
morning.
I'm saying? It's because you're here.
Oh,
Colin James is here. It's one of those mornings.
Yeah.
I know yesterday you said you were watching Wendell Clark on our show.
Yeah, he was good. Wendell, he was a great player, too.
He was a great player, and he made the list for the Centennial, right? And you were on every list of all time because you're the great one.
Oh, the top 100 players of all time?
Yeah,
he's number 15.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good for him. I didn't know. I haven't seen the list yet. Nobody tells me anything.
Okay, he was 15. Gordie. Come on in. We have to make sure you have your Tims. This is what you do when you come home.
Okay.
Do they do
perfect.
a splash of cream?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay, good. Okay, let's talk about this book.
Yeah.
First of all, 99 stories. How do you go about choosing, and how did you decide on not only telling your stories, but also the stories of others?
Well, listen, first of all, you can't cover the National Hockey League in one book because there's been so many great teams and so many wonderful players and great arenas like Maple Leaf Gardens and the Montreal Forum and the Boston Garden. But I just kind of sat there and I wanted to write something for kids that they could read and learn about the National Hockey League and how great of a game it is and how wonderful it has been not only to me but so many other people. And I want, you know, I had a dream to play in the NHL and I want kids to have that same dream. Not everyone makes the NHL, but we can all dream about it because it's a great life. It's wonderful. It's an honor to play in the league, and I just wanted to write something very positive. You're still dreaming?
Still dreaming. You know, Wayne, it's one of the things about this book that is really, really special is you talk about for an entire chapter Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
Your relationship with Gordie, how you think he's the greatest of all time.
No question in my mind. He's the best player. He's the nicest man that ever lived. And a lot of times when you meet your idol, and I know this has happened to people before, they walk away and they go, well, it was okay, it wasn't bad. When I met Gordie Howe, he was bigger and better and nicer. The next day I went to the barber shop and I said to the guy, I said, can I get a Gordie Howe haircut? That's how much I loved Gordie Howe. And they kind of laughed at me. But, you know, and over the years we developed a relationship. I played junior hockey with his youngest son, Murray. I played the WHA All-Star game with Mark and of course, Gordie. He's a wonderful man. We're going to miss him. You don't replace people like Gordie Howe.
And then, of course, there's Rocket Richard. Is there true that you only have the one trophy in your house out of all the ones you've received? Where are all the other trophies?
My dad has them, or the Hall of Fame, my restaurant. But I was playing in New York in '97, and the PR director of the Montreal Canadiens, Claude Mouton, came down to me and said, you know, the Rocket wants to see you tonight before the game. And I said, well, of course, bring him down. So before the game, the trainer came in and said, Wayne, the Rocket's outside. So I went outside the locker room, and he said to me, young man, he said, you're never going to win this trophy, because I think his trophy came out in about '96. But you deserve one of them. You should have one of these trophies. And I was so honored and thrilled that he took the trophy, and it's the only trophy that I have in my house. So when people come into my house, they're always like, where's your trophies? I didn't know, you know, where's everything? I said, that's my trophy right there. It sums up my career. A lot of classy people, and that's the one trophy I wanted in my house.
And he also said that on the ice, it was his sanctuary. Did you feel the same way? Was it a sanctuary for you?
Oh, my goodness. Guy Lafleur, I followed around in 1981 in the Canada Cup, and I went everywhere he went. I was just like a little puppy dog because I idolized him so much, and he was so good to me. And he used to go to the games at 1 o'clock, and I said to him one time, why would you go to the rink at 1 o'clock for a 7:30 game? He said, when I walk in the locker room, when I get in the arena, that's my sanctuary, and nobody can call me, nobody can talk to me. And so I started going to the games at 2:30, 2:45, so when you walk into the arena, that's all you think about is hockey, and you sit there, you start thinking about the game, you start talking about the game. It's the greatest life in the world, and you want to just soak it up and be there as much as you can.
And the person that really encouraged you from the beginning was your father.
Oh my goodness, I have the greatest father in the world.
Awesome.
I think Canadians know that. He's got such a big heart. He goes out of his way to help so many people. You know, he battled back from being in a coma for days and days, and the good Lord spared him, and he's put that to good use, and he does a lot of good things.
He's such a warm man. Every time he's here, we feel it.
Oh my goodness, I said he's the only guy I won't travel with because everybody knows him.
He is the most personable guy. If you see him walking around downtown.
He's a true Canadian because money doesn't mean anything to my dad, and people know that. We weren't rich in money in my childhood, but we were rich in love and support. My mom probably didn't get enough credit for raising her kids and her family, and she was a big part of my success, but my dad is a great guy.
And you have really fun stories in here, too. For example, the pennies that would be thrown on the ice by your coach. Could you talk about that?
Well, we played in '87 the Canada Cup, and we were we went down to almost 2 lines, and we played a double overtime game in game 2. The Russians were playing 4 lines and 8 defensemen, and they just kept coming and coming, and we were getting exhausted to a point where it was like we were running a marathon. And Mike Keenan, to sort of, in those days there was no TV timeouts, so Mike periodically would throw a penny or something on the ice, and then right before they dropped the puck, everybody would be screaming, "There's a penny on the ice." We're just trying to slow things down to give some guys a rest.
To buy you some time.
Yeah.
But were people onto the guy? Like, how come there's always pennies on the ice?
I think, you know what, that was one advantage we had because it was NHL referees, and they probably knew it was him, and the Russians didn't know who it was, so they probably sided with us. Home ice advantage.
We actually have the Gordie Howe song. Because I know you love it to this day. Could we play a little bit? So this brings back good memories, yes?
Oh yeah, listen. It's like the Joe DiMaggio song from years ago.
You know what's awesome is I see your eyes light up right now recalling these stories, and it's so funny because you are that person for so many people out there, including this guy.
Oh yeah, I grew up loving you, and it is one of those things. It's a dream for Canadian kids to be able to do what you do, and those stories, the fact that you've lived these stories in this book are.
Well, it's interesting because I talk about before I was born, obviously in the 20s and 30s, and then as a kid dreaming about the NHL, and then playing in the NHL, and then of course when I retired. So there's kind of a whole phase here of 99 years.
And then looking into the future, what do you think of Auston Matthews?
Oh my goodness, these players are so good. More importantly, they're really nice people. Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid. These guys now are so skilled and they're so good, and I just think the potential of the National Hockey League is only going forward, and it's going to be great for our game.
What an amazing book. Make sure you pick it up, guys. 99 Stories of the Game by the great one himself, Wayne Gretzky.
Thank you.
BreakfastTelevision.ca has a link to purchase the book, and it's great for all ages.
Yes, great.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my
Good
pleasure.
To see
Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne.
Okay, sorry I didn't get to play with you.
No, I'm just not good enough.
But you're still dreaming.
It's my fault.
Over to you, Kev.